Alright guys, Brian Pierce here, your purveyor of awesome. Thank you for clicking on this video, for finding the channel, for being a subscriber, whatever got you here. I'm glad that you made it. So yeah, this is going to be a non-alcoholic beer review. So if you are looking directly for that and don't want to know why we are doing that, scrub ahead a little bit, maybe look to a timestamp that I can drop in here for you guys. You can skip ahead. But why am I doing this? So one, my wife has been for the past 6 months drinking, not drinking, right? And because of that, she has been finding different types of non-alcoholic beers, wines. Excuse me, we haven't tried spirits yet, but there are a lot of non-alcoholic spirits that we also want to try. During this time, I have been, trying these as well. I'm not gonna lie, like when you get done at 10 a.m. after mowing the lawn, sometimes you want a beer, but 10 a.m. you're like, crap, I still got a lot of stuff to do today. It's kind of a bad time to start drinking. So I might go grab one of those non-alcoholic beers, have that. It's refreshing. It kind of does the mental game that I'm playing of the fact that it's like, oh, I've done something so manly like cutting the grass, I need a beer. It does that well for you, right? But the big reason why I wanted to talk about this, try all of these beers, is to talk to you guys about mindset. You're like, beer, mindset, that's strange. But for me, it was because of the fact that I needed something to drink socially, but not always get drunk. With everything that was going on with being kind of shelter in place and quarantined, I started to realize that I was drinking every night and to excess in the neighborhood with all of the neighbors. I don't want that to be a slight against them. It's just one of those things where we would be out there hanging out with the kids, and then all of a sudden the sun was down and we just kind of keep going. And it was a great time. And we have got, as neighbors, have gotten so much closer, which has been phenomenal. But there were times that either A, I wanted to wake up and go work out in the morning, and I do that at 5:30. That's really early. And to stop drinking at 9:30, that really does not give your body any window to try to come down from some of that alcohol. So your sleep sucks. So that was part of it. And two, when it comes to mindset, I truly want to think of myself as someone who always thinks about their best health. And drinking or consuming alcohol isn't that, right? It is a toxin to our system, and it's really a poison. The social aspects of it are great, and I'm not trying to take away from that for anybody, but some people who might have been struggling with that during the pandemic might have needed something else, and that was me. I needed to try to find something else so that I was not drinking all of the time. And so I started talking to my wife more about the non-alcoholic beers that she was drinking, and then I was on a FaceTime with my friend Geoffrey, and it turns out that him and his wife and himself were also kind of going through this, that they realized that they were just drinking too much during the apocalypse, and they turned me on to WellBeing brewery, which is a non-alcoholic beer, a non-alcoholic brewery, and that was really exciting for me. I was like, I need to research this. Through that, I found Athletic Brewing Company. So there are a plethora of non-alcoholic beers out there. I'd even go so far to say as non-alcoholic craft breweries that are out and about in the world. So if you're kind of on this journey and you're trying to look for a chance to potentially drink less, don't drink at all, any of that, and maybe think about still wanting to consume a beer socially or just after certain tasks that you get done, there's no reason to not be able to do that now, right? And so what we did is we took a bunch of the beers that we've been drinking regularly. We talked about which ones we would get more of, which ones we wouldn't get more of, and kind of tried to do a little bit of a true beer review. Now, we don't break down the hops, any of the numbers that come along with that. We're just talking about from our own, did we enjoy it, and what did we enjoy about it, if we didn't enjoy it, and what we didn't enjoy about it. So I hope you guys like the fact that we kind of talk about these beers. If there's any kind of non-alcoholic beer that you think we should try, let us know. If there's I don't know. Hopefully you guys enjoy it and tell us what you think at the end, right? So here we go. Here we are talking about the beer. So as you guys saw, we started at one end with the Texas Select, ended with the non-alcoholic, or the WellBeing. These are all non-alcoholic. I don't have to say that like that makes any sense right now. So good. Texas Select. who wants to go first?
I would like to hear what you think, Steve.
On every beer.
I thought the Texas Select was a little fruity, which I kind of liked. Kind of winey flavor. Not whiny as in crying, but whiny as in vino. Was very, very light. And effervescent, kind of like champagne.
Yeah, and it had that champagne look to it for sure.
But it had a very mild flavor, the kind you could do more than one and not get overwhelmed by it. So I liked it and gave it a 4.
Oh.
I thought that he might like that one the best.
Yeah.
That was my highest score that I gave.
All right, Tamara?
I gave it a 3. I think it's like a middle of the road, easy to drink, light flavor. I like to say the lawn mowing beers, refreshing and not too hoppy.
Yeah, now that you say that, I could see that fitting in right next to a Bud Light.
That's what I put, comparable to Bud Light.
Yeah.
I get Texas Select a lot just because it is the easiest to find. So.
Well, that's a good point. You said it's one of the cheaper ones too.
Yes,
like,
and
when you're talking about cost.
One of the cheapest ones in the bunch.
It's okay. I don't really enjoy it. There are others that I would prefer that she would have in the fridge, but when that one's there, that one's there. I gave it a 2.5, and it's my meh. My kind of meh beer. It didn't really have a smell. It's almost a little skunky to me, like
really.
Lightly. It's kind of flat, and it gives me a weird mouthfeel.
Yes.
And at the back part, when I kind of like when you try to analyze the sip, it's stupid to say that, but hey, here we are, right? But I like the fact that they have a cap that gives you a little puzzle inside of it, so that's fun that you can play around with that. So next one is the St. Pauli non-alcoholic. So at least the marketing is good because she's cute, so that's nice. That's good. All right, Dad, go first.
I found it had a weird smell.
Okay.
And it was an offensive smell.
Oh, offensive smell. That's allowed. That's it.
And it kind of like toilet water, and I don't mean perfume.
Okay.
Slight bitterness, but it wasn't bad, and it was pretty light. I wouldn't really buy it. I just found it to be okay. I preferred the Texas Select more.
Well, all right. I obviously like the Texas Select more because I gave this a 2, and the Texas Select was a 2.5 for me. I think this does, like, you take a sniff of it and you can smell the malt.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing if you're looking for more malt. This is going to be it. But it's very Heineken-like. And if you're not a fan of either the Heineken alcoholic beer or the non-alcoholic beer, you will not be a fan of the St. Pauli Girl.
But good news, if you do like Heineken,
boom!
That's your non-alcoholic beer.
What about you?
I gave it a 2. Same. I put skunky like Heineken.
I gave it a 3.5. I didn't like it.
Heineken is not my favorite. I got a 6-pack of those, and not because I had never tried them, and then I had to finish it, and I was like, never doing that again. So, there you go. That's how I feel.
I like it. Good stuff. Okay, so then we go to Athletic Brewing Company. This was one that I ordered as a subscription service, but then during all of this time, Tamara figured out that at Total Wine, we can find this now in their non-alcoholic beer section. So, FYI to you guys, if you have like a Specs or Total Wine or one of those big, huge, stores, go look for non-alcoholic spirits, beers, and wines because those selections are growing.
They do have non-alcoholic wine at Total Wine as well. I have not tried it. Maybe that's another video.
Oh, wait.
But,
Dad?
Well,
he goes, IPA, hate.
Yeah, I did first, but I didn't find it as hoppy as some.
Okay.
And it really wasn't that bad. It was slightly bitter, but I've had a lot more bitter IPAs before. I actually gave it a 2.5. I'll pass. That would.
Okay.
I would.
A 2.5 is an I'll pass? Man, a 2.5 is my like lawnmower beer. This guy, it scores. So Tamara, Athletic Brewing Run Wild IPA.
I give this one a 4.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I think because to me it tastes like an IPA should taste.
Okay.
So when I drink it, I'm like, oh right, an IPA, and so and I enjoy IPAs. It has a good flavor.
For me, I actually gave this one a 3.5, and I tried to rate everything with what I enjoyed out of it, right? Not, ooh, it's an IPA, I should like it more. So I tried to go with that, so I gave this one a 3.5. I like the smell. That's part of why I like to take a beer and pour it out instead of drinking it either in the can or drinking it from the bottle, is because you just get a chance to truly take in the entire beer with your, using all its senses, many senses as possible. They had a great smell. I did like that it had a good little IPA bite to it. I feel like they could have gone deeper there, but that's all right. Only thing is like it had a kind of a flat finish. And the way that it finished was a little flat for me. So, Athletic, remember those are ones that we found now at Total Wine, so check that out. So if we were to go to the next one that we had, it was going to be the WellBeing, the Dark Amber. This is the beer that turned me on to them. I was talking with my buddy Geoffrey Fryer, who I've talked about before in some of my videos. He had this at like 10 a.m. when we were on a FaceTime, and I was like, are you drinking at 10 a.m.? And he showed me this, so we started that conversation, and that's actually kind of what spawned this whole idea. We're talking about these beers. So Dad, WellBeing Dark Amber.
Not over the top.
So good.
For a guy who doesn't like IPAs.
Good thing it's an amber.
Yeah. It's an IPA.
No, this isn't an amber.
It's an amber.
Oh,
It's a dark amber.
I may be evaluating the wrong one. I am. I'm an idiot. Hello.
Yeah, you
Only
Hellraiser.
Slightly hoppy, but slightly bitter. But the flavor was very full. Like if that was really, 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 really cold, that would be a good lawnmower beer.
Right.
To quench your thirst and whatnot. But I'm on the borderline because that's probably the only conditions under which I would drink it. Gave it a 3.
I like how he has, I'll pass, and it's still a 3.
3.
Okay, go.
This is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Gave it a 5.
Whoa, whoa.
I just love it. I love everything about it.
Okay.
Doesn't leave a weird taste in my mouth. I think the flavor like punches you in the face. Like, I'm here. I think it's this out of all of them is most like a craft beer.
This is my highest rated, even though I do typically like run for the IPA aisle, right? Like, this is actually my highest rated with a 4. And again, loved the smell, right? Like I thought it had a great smell. The head that it produced pouring it was the best out of all of them. I noticed that right away pouring it, and that's, I don't know if carbonation or things like that gets left off when they're removing the alcohol. And so maybe the way that this one was processed was a little bit better. It's an amber, right? It's more based on the malts that are used, and you could get that. There was a much more, this one definitely had an earthier flavor to it, and it had a clean mouthfeel. Again, that may sound weird, but to some people, like, you don't like having a weird mouthfeel after drinking a beer. This one did not give me that. So that was the Dark Amber, which won for me. So next we can move on to the Clausthaler. Clausthaler. Clausthaler.
It's a German one.
It's German. The Germans. Go, Dad.
Well, I found a pleasing flavor. Only a touch of hoppiness for me. But it kind of grew on me as I went along, and I'd have to give it an I buy this one on a 3.5.
Oh,
nice. You like the dry hop?
This one,
if that's what that is.
It's a dry.
It's a dry hop.
Dry hopped. What was the?
Interesting.
Pleasing flavor, just a touch of hops, and the flavor kind of stuck with you.
Yeah. So he likes the dry. I never would have guessed that.
What did you think of it?
I like this one as well, so I gave it a 3.5. Again, another middle of the road one, I think, but it's easy to get. So the Clausthaler you can also get at Kroger. I will say, of all the Kroger beers, that one is my favorite.
Yeah, this is the one that I'm most excited about whenever it's in the fridge, and I'm going for that that after lawn mowing or whatever, after yard work beer. I like the malt smell that it has. I like the malt flavoring that it kind of comes with, and I like the dry hop aspect of it, right? It's not an IPA. They're not trying to build a hop profile for you, but they're kind of finishing off whatever style of beer this is. I can't even tell on there what kind of style of beer it is that they're going for, but that dry hopping, I like that kind of that flavor that it adds to it. So surreal, juicy Mavs.
This had another weird smell, and it wasn't pleasing. And it never went away. And the flavor was very, very, very light. It was almost like drinking a Coors Light, where I didn't find it had very robust flavor at all. What it had was okay, but it's a Coors Light kind of thing, and I'll pass 2.5.
Okay. Wow. Go.
Yeah, I gave it a 2. I don't think I'll ever buy that one again. I like that they were trying to go for that tropical flavor, but it would almost work better as a seltzer water. Like, it's too carbonated. I get what they're trying to do. They did not achieve that. So I'm not a fan.
So,
Well, I gave it a 1.
Uh-oh.
I almost gave it a 1.5, but then I was like, no, I'm giving it a 1. And I said, just no, bad smell, flat flavor, and overly carbonated question mark.
Yeah.
So maybe, but I'm not 100% sure on that front. I kind of hate being the person that's like, try it if you want to agree with us or disagree with us. But
I mean, try it.
if you've got options, don't go for that one. All right, the Athletic Brewing Cerveza Athletica. Maybe that's how we're gonna say it is. Dad,
I found it kind of bland,
okay?
and found it kind of gassy.
Ooh.
You know, after
Which end?
you know, it didn't seem to be that carbonated.
Everything's
And
fuel
there's no
injected
alcohol
now,
in
Dad.
this, guys. I mean, these are alcohol-free beer. But it was gassy, and it tended to come up, but it didn't look that effervescent. And you know, it was kind of bland. It wasn't a flavor that was memorable, and so I'll pass. I should have given it a 2.5, but I gave it a 3. Just okay. If that's the last thing floating in the cooler, I'd take it.
Tamara.
Yeah, mine is a 3. Well, it's just a meh.
Yeah. Yep, I was a 3 as well on this one. I said almost no smell. It's very Coors Lightish to me.
Yes.
And
easy
then
to drink and
I would
just-
love it to have more flavor. That's the biggest thing. Is this is the one where I kind of get what you're saying about a light seltzer water. Like this one to me comes across as a flavored
It
seltzer
doesn't.
water.
No, it doesn't have as much flavor as a seltzer water.
Okay.
To me,
So there you
it's
go.
just
There
like,
you go.
well, what am I drinking? Okay, it's a Coors Light.
WellBeing Intentional IPA.
Well, since I already gave this up before,
Oh,
I was
right.
evaluating the wrong beer. It wasn't that hoppy. I was expecting, since it's an IPA, to have more IPA type flavor that I find offensive, but I didn't find that offensive.
Okay.
But as I drank more of it, it got hoppier with each sample, but it never got to the point where I found it unpalatable.
Right.
So I actually found it okay, and I can't believe I'm saying yes to an IPA. Gave it a 3.
Nice. We'll take it.
All right.
Tamara.
I gave this one a 4.
Ooh.
I liked this one.
I gave it a 3.5. I also was kind of like, man, I wish it did have a little bit more of that hop, that kind of that hop flavor that you would expect from an IPA. But I don't think that, please don't think that that's me knocking it. I like the flavor of the Intentional IPA. I just kind of was like, man, it does have a piney flavor. So whichever hops are going to create, you know, that kind of the flavor profile, definitely was using those for that piney flavor. And I kind of like the fact that they made it out of a 16-ounce can. That's kind of more of a marketing thing to do that, right? Because that kind of fits into what's cool right now in the craft beer scene is these 16-ounce cans. You go to the
And
brewery and you buy them and stuff.
This
like,
is the only one that comes in a 4-pack.
kind of smart, you know.
Yeah.
Just because it's non-alcoholic doesn't mean it shouldn't feel like you're still, you know, kind of taking part in the craft beer scene.
I agree.
And so I liked that marketing aspect behind it. I love what WellBeing is doing for their marketing. I think that what they're putting out on Instagram, their cans look really cool. Again, Athletic has chosen a very different look and feel, but I like theirs as well. Very clean. I am a clean line kind of guy, but in the long run, I also like hand illustrations. I think I respect that because it's so hard to do. I know I can't draw for anything, so that's why I like the look and feel of WellBeing as well. The others, you know, they're kind of have that German-esque look, and this kind of takes off of like a Lone Star or something like that. Like very
Lone
German
Star.
for these, like things of that nature.
Well, let me
so.
ask you a question.
Go on.
If this was a blind test, if you didn't know what you were drinking, and mixed in were some alcohol, just regular alcoholic beers, would you have been able to tell which beers are non-alcoholic just from a taste test and which are alcoholic?
I don't know.
I don't think I could have.
I don't know.
I
That's a
don't
good
think so.
question.
These, if you'd have told me we were testing some that were alcoholic, some that weren't, which might be the next test, I don't think I could have told the difference. Now, you drink enough of them, and yeah, you tell the difference.
Right,
But
for
with
sure.
just little tastes like that, I think they've done, compared to the old duels, what we used to have is about the only thing we could get.
Right.
More.
Fish scales with candle wax, they've come a long way. So none of these should be ashamed of themselves, because while some are better left in the cooler than others, They've all come a long
They're
way.
doing good work.
Yeah.
They've all come a long way.
Well, guys, I'm gonna wrap this thing up, but I appreciate you taking the time to try some of these non-alcoholic beers with me. Thanks for getting us into this endeavor in the first place.
But see, I have to drive home.
Yeah.
So no alcoholic beers for this boy, because I gotta, and Gigi will fuss at me if I
Nobody needs that.
catch his mother.
Nobody needs that. Nobody needs GG fussing at them. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Let's wrap this up and continue on with our weekend. So what did you guys think? I thought that was fun. I'm glad that my dad came. It was great to have Tamara here. It was a lot of fun. My dad always is very interesting. He's done a great job for me throughout the years as Papa Pierce on Seat Time when we used to do our web show, and made friends with all of my dirt bike buddies. And then of course Tamara is Tamara. She's my wife, and I love her for all the reasons that she's very opinionated. She has her own thoughts, her own morals, and they're different from mine, and that's perfect. It kind of helps us work together. So pass along your thoughts. Again, if there's something that you would like us to try, if it's non-alcoholic wine, non-alcoholic spirits, and do anything like that to talk about those, let us know, leave in the comments and things of that nature. I'm gonna put links to the different breweries, the different beers, so if you wanna read up on them, you can check those out there. Check out some other videos if you're not a subscriber. I kind of like live a little bit in this wellness fitness space. So if you're into that, I like to talk to the camera. I have the gift of gab, as they say. So these are some of the videos you're gonna get. You're also gonna get some family vlogs. We're getting ready to go to Colorado, and we're gonna vlog the crap out of that. I think it'll be a great time. So thank you guys for tuning in. Remember that I'm Brian Pierce, your purveyor of awesome. Thanks for trying some non-alcoholic beers with us today. And if nothing else, I'm gonna see you guys on the internet. Peace. So let's finish it off. WellBeing Intentional IPA 3.5. Oh, I just gave away my score. Go! I'm literally just...
I was like, I don't have that one written down.
Okay, I'm excited about this one.
That's my...
You just thought...